Hello students, welcome to BioSmart Academy. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss the fourth part of the plasma membrane. And before that, I discussed all the three part in my previous three lectures. Okay, previous three lectures. Please go and watch all that lectures because all that lectures are very much important from CSIR, NET, GATE, DBT, ICMR, all examination point of view. So please go and watch that previous three lectures. Then came here to watch this fourth lecture on plasma membrane. Okay. So before I start this lecture, I want to just remind you that BioSmart Academy provides free online lectures on YouTube, and these all lectures are strictly according to syllabus of CSI and NET, and within the 6 month of period time, you will in a position to qualify any of these exam, CSIR, GATE, DBT or ICMR. So please share BioSmart Academy as much as possible. Share BioSmart Academy YouTube channel as much as possible with your friends and all those students who are preparing for these examinations. Okay, and subscribe BioSmart Academy. Okay, we are with you always in your preparation, and join BioSmart Academy and boost your preparation for all this examination. All the lectures will be uploaded on YouTube channel within the 6 month of period time. We'll get all the important lectures from all the important modules and important topics. So please remain with BioSmart Academy. So now let's start today's lecture. See, in yesterday's lecture I discussed about the membrane protein, okay, in details, and I completed the membrane protein area. Some of the topics are left still, okay. So today I will going to cover all that topics, okay. See, membrane protein is basically classified on the basis of function, and their classification is basically three types. One is catalytic proteins, okay, one is structural proteins, and the most important is transport protein, okay, transport proteins. So in today's lecture our discussion strictly on the transport protein, okay, our discussion will remain strictly on the transport protein, okay, and the other two, that is catalytic protein and structural protein, we will discuss these two proteins on module 1, that is biochemistry. When I will start biochemistry module, I will discuss these two topic in details there, okay. So today on cell biology we are going to discuss about transport protein, okay. This topic is very much important from examination point of view, okay. So basically transport protein, basically what is transport protein? Transport protein basically transport molecules, okay, basically transport molecule in the lipid bilayer, okay, in the lipid bilayer. Basically it carry the molecule from two by the two processes. One is carrier and one is channel protein, okay. By the help of these two protein, transport protein basically carry or transport the molecule, okay, or transport the molecules. So first carrier protein and channel protein, okay, these two proteins will helps in transport of molecules, okay. So basically all transport proteins, please remember that all transport protein are multipass transmembrane protein. Please remember this point is the most important point, okay. I star mark this point, please note it down, that all transport proteins are multipass transmembrane protein, okay. Now let's move to the next slide. See, first we discuss about the carrier protein and then we will discuss in details about the channel proteins, okay. See, what are carrier proteins? Carrier means what? It means it carry the molecule, okay, it carry the molecule, okay. Carrier protein basically what? Basically it carry the molecule. And how it carry the molecule? It carry the molecule, and how it carry the molecule? By binding with that particular molecule, and by binding with that particular molecule it carry the molecule, okay. So these are the carrier protein, okay. So carrier protein are basically those protein which carry the substance from one side of the biological membrane to the other side, okay, from one side to the other side it basically carry the molecule, okay. Suppose this is the biological membrane, and carrier protein basically carry the molecule from this side to this side, okay. So this is the carrier protein, and remember this point, that carrier protein transport may be active or may be passive. It means what? It means that carrier protein, basically the transport that is made by the carrier protein, that is carrier protein, it may be active transport or passive transport. Means in case of active transport, ATP is needed. Okay, ATP is needed, while in case of passive transport, no energy is needed. No energy is needed. Okay, so the carrier protein may be actively or passively transported. Okay, now next point. Carrier protein, basically two types. One is uniport and one is co-transport. Okay, one is uniport and one is co-transport. Okay, so first I will discuss with the help of a diagram that what are uniport and what are co-transport. Okay, see, in case of uniport, okay, in case of uniport and in case of co-transport. Okay, in case of uniport and in case of co-transport, in case of co-transport, in case of co-transport, in case of co-transport, in case of co-transport. Okay, so let's divide this. Okay, in uniport there is one system, that is suppose this is a plasma membrane, this is a plasma membrane. Okay, this is a plasma membrane and this is a lipid bilayer of the plasma membrane. This is a lipid bilayer, that is the hydrophobic part. Okay, and the head part is the hydrophilic part. Please remember these things. So in case of uniport, the molecules that was shown in black, molecules transported from here to here. Okay, that is just in one direction. This is uniport. In case of uniport, the molecule are transported only in one direction, from here to here. Okay, so this is the uniport, that is unidirectional transport of molecule. Okay, unidirectional transport of molecule takes place. Okay, unidirectional transport of molecule takes place in the lipid bilayer in case of uniport. Okay, now in case of co-transport, there are two type of transport takes place. One is symport, one is antiport. Okay, one is symport and one is antiport. Okay, one is symport and one is antiport. Okay, so this is the co-transport. Okay, in co-transport there are two types. One is symport and one is antiport. Okay, one is symport, one is antiport. Okay, so let's look at this plasma membrane figure. See, in case of symport, the two molecules are basically transport. Suppose this is one molecule and this is one molecule, this is two molecule, but both the molecules are transported in the same direction, like this. Okay, two molecules are transported, this is one molecule and this is second molecule. Okay, but both the molecules are transported in the same direction, same direction. Okay, so this is an example of symport, in which both the molecules are transported in the same direction, like this, in the same direction. Okay, so, in the lipid bilayer, both the molecule, this is one molecule and this is second molecule, and both the molecule are transported in the same direction. So this is an example of symport. Please remember this point. And what is antiport? In case of antiport, there are two molecules are transported, but both are in different direction. Okay, see, suppose this is one molecule. Okay, this is transported in this direction and this is second molecule. Okay, this is second molecule. Let's draw, this is second molecule and this molecule is transported in this direction. This is a case of antiport. This is a case of antiport. Okay, this is a case of antiport. So in case of antiport, both the molecules are transported, but one molecule is transported in one direction, from exoplasmic to cytosol, from outer to inner, and one molecule is transported from inner to outer, like this. Okay, so both the molecules are transported in two different directions. So this is the case of the antiport. Okay, this is the case of the antiport. While in case of symport, both the molecules are transported in the same direction. Okay, while in case of uniport, there is only one molecule is transported. Okay, and that molecule will be transported in one direction only. There is single molecule is transported. This is a case of uniport. So I think now you have got a clear idea about the co-transport and about the uniport. Okay, now let's look at the PPT. Okay, now I think you got a clear idea. Okay, please note it down. See, basically I already discussed that uniport and co-transporter. Okay, so uniport basically transports single solute I already mentioned, from one side of the membrane to other, as I mentioned in the figure, and the single non-coupled transport is called uniport. Okay, simple. While in case of co-transport, it is a coupled transport, that is two molecules are transported in the same direction, then this is called symport. While if two molecules are transported in opposite direction, then this is called antiport. Okay, this is called antiport, this is called antiport. Okay, and this is called symport. Okay, so basically this is called symport, this is called symport, while this is called antiport. Okay, this is called antiport. Clear? So coupled transport are basically what are involved either the simultaneous transfer of a second solute in the same direction called symport, and if the transfer of second solute in the opposite direction occur, then it is called antiport. Okay, so co-transport that mediate symport and antiport are called symporters, and antiporters are called symporters and antiporters. I think now you have got clear idea about the uniport, about the co-transports, and about the division of the co-transport, that is symport and antiport. Symport and antiport. Okay, and what are symport and antiport? I think you all got a clear idea. If you still have any doubt, then please repeat the video or comment me on the comment box. I will try to make your doubt clear. Okay, so this is all about the transport system, that is co-transport and uniport system. Okay, now next, see, now look at the channel proteins. Okay, what are channel proteins? See, name channel, it means what? It provides a channel like this, and through this channel molecules are transported like this, like this, like this, like this. Okay, it means it provides a channel, and through this channel the molecules are basically transported like this. Clear? So channel protein basically two types, either gated or non-gated. What do you mean by gated? Gated means there is some gate is there, and the gate will be open if there is some stimulation occur. There is some stimulation occur. While non-gated means no gate is present. Okay, no gate is present. Okay, and the molecules can easily pass through this. Okay, see, in case of channel proteins there is a channel needed. Okay, and through this channel the molecules are transported like this. Okay, clear? Okay, just understand by the basic diagrammatic way, and these diagrams are very basic. I made it for you so that your concept is become clear. Okay, concept are become clear. Okay, so this is channel protein, that is a channel is there through which the molecules are passage, and channel proteins are basically gated. Okay, what is gated? In case of gated channel protein, in case of gated channel protein, there is a gate present. Suppose there is a gate present, and the molecule have to be transported through this gate, and this gate will be locked until and unless it get an stimulation signal. What? Stimulation signal. And the stimulation signal may be any voltage signal, or maybe any ligand signal. Okay, these are the stimulation signal, and on the basis of this gated channel are called voltage gated channel. Okay, if the stimulation signal came from voltage, then it is called voltage gated, and the stimulation signal if came from ligand, then it is called ligand gated channel. Okay, so these are gated channel, and these are open only upon stimulation. Clear? Now let's look at the non-gated channel. See, this is a non-gated channel. Okay, non-gated channel. In case of non-gated channel, see, there is no gate present. Okay, gate is absent. See, and the molecules can easily pass through this channel. There is no stimulation is required. Okay, in case of non-gated channel. Now I think you have got a clear idea about the gated channel, about the non-gated channel. Now look at the PPT so that you get it clear. Okay, and if you still don't understand, then please repeat the video and screenshot this diagram. This is a simple basics diagram that I draw. Okay, in so that you can understand the concept easily. Okay, we have to grow our concept more and more. Okay, so let's first start gated. As I already told you that gated channel are basically open in response to some stimulation or some specific signal, and this may be voltage gated gated channel, and this may be some ligand will be there, so named will be ligand gated channel, or there can be stress mechanical, and the name according to that mechanical gated channel. So these are the signal that are needed to open this gated channel. Okay, to open this gated channel. Clear? Next, now the ligand channel can be either extracellular ligand means present ligand outside of the plasma membrane, or it may be any intracellular mediator. Okay, so these are the basically ligand channel. Okay, so these are the basically basic concept about the carrier protein and about the channel mediated transport of protein. Okay, so these are basically transport protein. Okay, see, so till now we have studied transport protein. Okay, what are transport protein? Okay, and two types of transport protein, one is carrier and one is channel. Okay, and we have made our concept clear about both of this carrier and channel, and if you still have any doubt, then please ask me freely. I will try to answer your question. Okay, and please share this channel, because you will get all these lectures in free, and these are according to the strictly CSI net syllabus. Now let's look another very important point. These points are very important. Please look at this point. See, carrier mediated transport always active or passive. Okay, it depends upon the molecule, that it may be either active or passive. But remember this point, that channel mediated protein is always passive in nature. It means what? That the channel mediated transport does not require ATP. Okay, does not require ATP. Okay, that is ATP is not required. I cut this, does not require ATP. In case of channel mediated protein, it does not require ATP, while in case of carrier mediated protein, it may be required ATP or may not be required ATP. In case of carrier mediated passive transport, ATP is not required, while in case of carrier mediated active transport, ATP is required. So these are basically the major thing that may be asked in the question, in 2 marks question on examination. Okay, so carrier mediated protein either active or passive. In case of active, ATP is required. In case of passive, ATP is not required, while in case of channel, ATP is not required at all. Okay, clear? Now see, the transport of this protein through channel means the transport of protein through a channel is very fast. Suppose this is a channel through which the protein is transported. Okay, so the transport of the channel through a protein, so sorry, the transport of the protein through this channel, sorry, okay, the transport of protein, these are proteins, or these are molecules, these are solid which are transported through this channel. The transport rate is very high as compared to carrier. Why? Because carrier protein, suppose this is a bilayer. Okay, this is a bilayer, lipid bilayer. Okay, and carrier need to be bind, this is a carrier molecule, and it need to be bind to this solute, and then only it can transfer. But in case of channel, there is a channel in which easily the molecules get transported. Okay, so the transport rate in case of channel is very fast, very fast as compared to carrier mediated protein. Okay, as compared to carrier mediated protein. So if a question is asked on the examination that which transport system very fast, channel or carrier, then the answer will be channel. The channel mediated transport is very fast. Okay, very fast. Clear? Next, see, now there is another topic that we left yesterday, that how the membrane protein remain attached with lipid. Okay, that is the membrane protein, that is the membrane protein, how it bind with the lipid, okay, this topic is very important, how it bind with the lipid. Okay, and how it bind with the lipid, and on what molecule it basically bind, membrane protein. Okay, so let's look at the PPT. See, just remember this point, basically membrane protein covalently bound with the lipid molecule. Okay, membrane protein is covalently bound with the lipid molecule, that's why called lipid linked membrane protein. Okay, as membrane protein is linked with lipid, that's why it is called lipid linked membrane protein. Okay, lipid linked membrane protein, because membrane protein are covalently bound to lipid molecules. Clear? And they form covalent attachment with 3 classes of lipid. Okay, they form covalent attachment with 3 classes of lipids. Okay, this membrane protein basically covalently attached with 3 classes of lipid. First is isoprenoid group, such as farnesyl and garnyl residue. Second is fatty acyl group such as myristoyl and palmitoyl residue. And third is GPI, okay, that is glycosylated phospholipid. Okay, please remember these three names. Okay, because the membrane protein basically covalently attached with these three class of lipids. Okay, so see first how it basically attached. Okay, first if we look at the isoprenoid groups such as farnesyl or garnyl residue. Okay, it basically attached by a thioether linkage. Okay, and it attached with the cysteine residue. Okay, it attached with the cysteine residue. Okay, it attached with the cysteine residue. In case of isoprenoid group, it basically attached with the cysteine residue of the protein and at the C terminus, and the attachment link is thioether link. Okay, so in case of isoprenoid, the attachment will be the attachment takes place through a thioether link. Okay, thioether link. And secondly, it attaches at the C terminus of the cysteine residue. Clear? Now second, we look at the fatty acyl group. First we look at the myristoyl. Okay, in case of myristoyl, it attaches to a protein through amide linkage. Okay, in case of myristoyl, it attaches to a protein through amide linkage at the N terminal of the glycine residue. Okay, at the N terminal of the glycine residue. While in case of palmitoyl, it attaches to the cysteine residue at the C terminus or N terminus through thioester linkage. Okay, while in case of palmitoyl, it attaches to the cysteine residue close to N or C terminus via thioester linkage. Clear? And the last one is GPI, that is glycosylated phospholipid. In case of GPI linked, it attaches to the C terminal amino acid via amide linkage. Okay, via amide linkage, and it always occurs at the exoplasmic phase of the plasma membrane. See, so today we covered the today we completed the four important parts of the plasma membrane, and the final part came tomorrow. Okay, and in tomorrow I will briefly discuss about the hydropathy plot as well as some important role of flippage and floppage. Okay, so basically from tomorrow the plasma membrane will be over. So please go and watch all the lectures, and please share by Smart Academy as much as possible. Okay, please share it as much as possible and subscribe. So we will meet tomorrow. Till then, thank you.